G'day, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a bit of work on the Torana. Got some coilover shocks, so going to fit these. I'm going to have to come up through the floor. I did have mounts mounted to the bottom of the floor there, but as I said in the other video, they're just going to hang down too low and just collect everything off the road. So I'm going to put them up through the floor, and yeah, there's some work we need to do in the boot there, which I'll show you in a minute. So we're going to have to put a bar across in there from wheel arch to wheel arch, and some little support stays and stuff like that. I've got a bit of an idea on my head what I want to do. I've seen a few pictures and stuff on online of other people that have put their shockers up through the floor and done those sorts of things. So I'm just going to put all the little ideas together and just make my own idea, and yeah, see if that hopefully it'll work. Should do, but you know, yeah, it's raining a little bit, so sorry about the noise. It's just trickling at the moment, so hopefully it doesn't get too much heavier during the day during filming. So I'll take the old conies out that I've got in there at the moment, and fit these Viking shockers that I got. They're pretty fancy flash looking things, but yeah, we'll put them in and see how we go. Right, this is what I've got going on under here. Got my coney shocks in there at the moment, and I've got these pads bolted to the floor, which, you know, I thought would be a good idea and not come up through the floor, but it turns out I'm going to have to come up through the floor because they just hang down a little bit too far and I'm not happy with it. So the length, it's a little bit longer, so the diff's going to come down a little bit more, and then she'll just probably sit up like Jack in the back, and I don't want that, so I need to go through the floor so I can put the wheel up in the wheel arch a little bit further, because that's what we want, a little bit of tire tuck. Yeah, so take these, unbolt these off, and we'll try and work out where I need to come up through the floor. So I'll go up to the top and I'll show you my idea for up there. So the idea up here, take these plates out. That's where I've put the plates underneath. So I put a strengthening plate on the top. Is put a bar from welded pad. I want to weld a pad on the wheel arch there, and go across to the other side with a pad, and I'll have a bar through there with the shock mounts on there. And I'm thinking about even putting a little, where the bar's going across, I might put a stay underneath the bar, because the rail runs right there, so I might put a pad there and put a stay to the bar as well, just to give it a bit extra strength, because I just don't want to rely on just welding it to that. These tubs are only a thin sheet metal, so if I weld it to the floor onto the rail, I think that'll give it a bit extra strength. So we'll go ahead and unbolt all this stuff out of the way, and I've got 100mm hole saw, which is about what I need to bore a hole through the floor there. Will I get it in exactly the right spot? Only time will tell, I suppose. So we'll get into it and see what happens. So I think what I'll do is I'll tie these back so I don't damage them like I just did then, I think. No, it still works. Tie them up there, and this one, I think I'll jack the diff up until it just touches and mark it, and then just mark it and drill a hole, and then I'll hole saw it from the top. That'll pretty well get it to where I need it to be. See what happens. Leave a little bit of play there, and I can sort of do what I need to do here. Well, jack her up a bit. The old my foot. Works a treat. Fuck's sake. Oh, here we go, here we go. Yep. So, yeah, I reckon about there. Somewhere there. Alright, we'll bore a hole in it. Centre punch that, drill a hole up through there, so then I'll start drilling from the top. Sweet. Right, this is the type of bar I'm going to use, but not this one exactly, because I've sort of used it as a pry bar and bent it and all sorts of things. So I did have a piece that was long enough, but I used it for other things. So I'll go down the street and see if I can get another piece of bar. But I will use this one. I'll chop it up, and I'll, as I was talking about before, those little stays, the rail runs up like it's right there. So if I put a plate there, which I can use, that plate, it's already sort of pre-bent, is what I used before. So I might just cut that down a bit, just so it's a smaller pad, and cut a piece of this off and weld it from onto this plate to the underneath of here, as well as a plate that will go on here. This will be welded onto here, onto the plate, and these brackets have to be welded onto here as well. We'll get them in the right spot, but we'll go and get another piece of bar. This one's no good. See what we can find. Right, this is where we're at now. Got a piece of bar, cut it to length. I've just tacked it on the plates either side. Got those just cable tied up. We're level. Righto. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bar out now. While it's still there, I'm going to tack the shock mounts onto the bar, and then I'll take the bar out and I'll fully weld the shock mounts and the plates, and then sit it back in there, I suppose, and go from there again. That's all welded up now. Welded the plates on there, so I'm just about to weld it to the tubs. We're still plumb level there, so I'll just line it up with the tubs and give it a tack on there, make sure that's right. I'm going to go away from this idea of putting the plates with the extra stays there. I'm pretty sure it's going to be plenty strong enough like that. If it's not, I can always put them in later, but I just think it'll look a bit neater without those there for the time being. So yeah, we'll line it up a bit better and I'll give it a tack. There we go, it's all in. Pretty happy with it. Come up alright. I just had to grind back a few of the welds on the corners there. Wasn't real happy with it because it's quite thin, the tub, and thin metal there, and I'm no welder by any means, but ground them up and they come up okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And it's certainly very strong. I don't think I'll need to put the stays in underneath there. Yeah, so it's pretty good. Underneath, I'll cut about two holes up, cut it off and shape it up. Then it'll be level with the lower control arm here, which I'll be pretty happy about. So, but yeah, no, it's come up good. Still got plenty of adjustment. Got plenty of holes up the top there, up and down. At least got a 25mm either way, so I can put the tyres up in the guard a bit further, or you know, make it look like Jack Up Jack for a roadworthy, of course, one day. 10 years time, something along those lines. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Still got plenty to do on this thing. Yeah, got a few door gaps and stuff still to fix up, and I want to get the engine bay primed and plug weld a few holes up and stuff in there, and yeah, we'll just keep chipping away at it. Of course, as the money comes in, we'll just keep throwing a little bit at it. But yeah, anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.